Turn 5 racing, that last turn of the night when you go off the track and all 4 tires are aired up on the car and you don't have to wait on a tow truck or a push truck. That's the best night of racing of all, if you can bring it home in one piece. Talking about bringing it home in one piece, a family that's kept this racetrack in one piece for the past year or so. The Williams family, sitting here with me right now, the owner of the Punta Gorda Speedway, the toughest track in the South, Kevin Williams. And first off, thank you for giving us our home and a place to race.
You're very welcome. You know, it's been a home to me for 20-some years, you know. I watched this place being built and won a lot of races here, lost a lot of races. I knocked every wall down in every corner. Spent a lot of money here, and my son's he didn't knock as many walls down as I did, but he's not won as many races here as I have, but he's won a championship like myself, and we call it home. And I seen it going down the tubes, and I said, I got to have that place. And I've lost a lot of sleep and a lot of time with my wife, a lot of deep, long discussions about this place before I was able to get it.
You know, it's funny. We call this home, and I don't think a lot of people out there realize how much of a home this feels to us. I mean, you, me, other families that have been out here, they've spent the better half of their lives, Saturday nights, some Sundays, some Friday nights, and even the nights that we spend at home in the garages on our cars, and the time that the families put into this place in one shape or form or another is just immense.
Oh, it is. And, you know, it's like right now I was walking up here and out in the field, you know, well, we always leave the turn 2 lights on so everybody can see to get out and all. But tonight, that full moon, a lot of action tonight. And I looked out across there as I was coming up here, and there's probably like 30 trailers over here in the parking lot, and they're so loud you think that the fans was still here. They're talking, they're racing, they're parking lot racing now and having some beverages, I'm sure, you know. But it's family, you know. It's family. It's the way this place has been. It's our area we're in, and that's about all you can say about it. Just it's a big family-oriented deal.
You know, tonight's episode of Turn 5 Racing has been about family. We had Andrew Jackson and Out of My Way Kay on here, and we had Jimmy Miser, who is my father-in-law. He's got a huge family support that's been here for years. And Christopher Loney, he grew up here, you know, and
little boy.
Yeah, and running around with your kid out here too. You know, we all had a good time. But you know, what's going on right now is a complete shame.
Yeah, it's a tough deal, you know. It's hard to understand, basically. You know, everything was fine. They said I've been the best, you know, tenant they'd had, run the racetrack, and everything was all going smooth till this summer when the parking lot flooded, you know, and everybody has seen the pictures, you know, and I have the pictures and all, and you could float a boat out here. And I started asking questions, what are we going to do? You know, what are we going to do? I've shut down, you know, for the summer. I've split the seasons in half, trying to do something different, you know, and everybody says, you know, from up north, oh, you guys run year round, you know. Well, I tried to split it in 2 seasons and thinking that the off season in the summer, the rainy months, I could pick enough dry days to fix the front parking lot. And I run into brick walls everywhere I turned around from, you know, they got a court order, or the FAA sent down an order for the, you know, all the ponds had to be filled because of what happened, you know, in New York, you know, as far as the birds getting in the plane and, you know, having to land, right, you know, and all that stuff, you know, you can't have the dirt for this. But anyway, we got the dirt deal figured out, and I agreed that I would use my machinery and my labor and my time to fix the parking lot where it would drain, where we could run through the summer months and all. And but it seems like from that time on, there's been animosity between myself and the airport because I asked for something. I never asked for nothing. They told me what I had to do. I done it. You know, I cleaned up stuff that's been out here for 15, 18 years, and got the receipts from Zimmel down here to prove it. So I tried to do everything, but I think we started going our separate ways with my landlord whenever I asked for something, and I don't know what I've been told in the past. They took partial payments from people. They took cash payments from people. They give people breaks on their rent because they had rainouts and bad deals, and this is all documented stuff, that we've not even got into, and I hope we don't, but to get everybody up to snuff with everything, I got a letter this week, and the airport has agreed upon doing a survey of the land. I did my own private survey. And I know that I was being charged for 24.47 acres of land, and we've not used 24.47 acres of land, and there's never been for 24.47 acres of land since I had it. And I knew that, and I was trying to work things out, but I was running into brick walls. So finally we had to, my lawyer, he somewhat put his foot down. And so anything, one thing led to another. And if it hadn't been for the public and the racers and everybody sticking up for me, I don't know where I'd really be right now. I love this little town, but it is a little town, and people knows what happens in little towns. And not to point the fingers at anybody, but the way it is, the truth's the truth, and that's what I try to speak as the truth 100% of the time, and that's what people know me as. They know me as being firm, and they know me as telling it like it is. And a lot of people don't like to hear what it like it is, and but I was taught that that's the best way, try to be honest and tell it like it is, and some people like it, some people won't. And so that's where we're at, but what they agreed to do, I got a letter, and they're going to have Bass, a company Bass out of BASS out of Sarasota, come and do a property appraisal. Now, it didn't say survey, it said property appraisal. So, and basically our lease, they're going to do appraisal and say what they feel like the land is worth. But there's two separate ways to look at it. There's land value to sell, and there's land value for lease. So with the FAA, which I have not seen the paper, no one has seen the order sent down by the FAA stating that they have to have fair market value all of a sudden after 20-some years of this racetrack being here. They have to have fair market value, or they're cutting Punta Gorda Airport off. I should say Charlotte County Airport. I believe it's still named that, isn't it? They haven't. Did they change the name to Punta Gorda?
Punta Gorda, yeah.
Yeah, because I know when I took the place over, and it will be 2 years and 7 months come March. So I've had it that long, And I told them when we was trying to figure out names and all, I said, well, it's in Punta Gorda. I'd like to name it Punta Gorda Speedway. Oh, yeah, Kevin, we're trying to get the airport name to change, because it's Charlotte County. Even though it's in Charlotte County, they want it to be Punta Gorda, which I could see their point. And I think Punta Gorda Airport, it should be named Punta Gorda Airport in my eyes, and Punta Gorda Speedway. It all goes hand in hand. Everything's going good, but they're gonna do the appraisal of the property, and we'll see how it comes back, and then they'll try to determine their fair market value. But the bottom line is it will not go out for bid, like you read in the newspaper. They cannot put it out for bid because it states in the contract fair market value for the next 3 years, because everybody's in agreement. The track will go away eventually as the area grows and the airport gets bigger and expands, and that's what they're looking to do, and I understand that. Growth is growth. I just hope we don't turn into a South Naples or a East Coast deal. You know what I'm saying? I've worked all over this state, and we got a nice little community here, quiet, and a lot of growth wouldn't be good for this area, I don't think. I think it'd take away from the tourism and a lot of things, but we do need growth business-wise to bring money to the community. And I feel like this track has brought a lot of money to the community since I took it over from what it was to where it is now, which I've talked to a lot of owners, around business owners, and they agree. But so back to they're going to do the appraisal, and then they're going to come in and see what fair market value would be for the rent for us, and hopefully we can come to that agreement. I've talked with them, and I've made a proposal, to them that I feel like is above what it's right at 45 to 46% higher. An increase, 46% increase that I've offered to pay them rent here, because I've got some ideas that I feel like that I can bring some more motorsports here and some more car enthusiasts and different things that I've learned traveling around that works up north in some racetracks for a little extra revenue, but to hopefully cover what I offered them. Because I offered them substantially more than the $5,000 that was mentioned, to the beginning of it, to try and get everybody straight. So we're really close from where they were at their down to 75 plus 7% and this and that, So, I'm close with them, and it's still too much, and it is a 45 to 46% increase. And I have to ask, do you know of anything that in this area, or say in a 100-mile radius, or say 300-mile radius, any property or anything that's increased 45 to 46%? Do you know?
No, I don't know anything at all. And I was in construction for a long time too, with my father-in-law. And when the bottom fell out of everything stopped around here. There is no reason in the world for the price to go up on anything right now at all. I mean, everything is still going down. And, I know we've been wanting to talk to you for a long time, try to figure out what's going on. I know you can't talk about a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes, and that's understandable. But as not only an employee, but as a race fan that's been here forever and a day, and the fans here too, we thank you for fighting for this place, because you, your wife, your dad, and your mom, your whole family that's been out here has really made a big difference at this place. And I don't care what anybody else says. You guys have made the biggest impact on this place than anybody has in 23 years.
Well, I appreciate that, and we've put a lot of hard work into it. That's one thing that bothers me. My dad's 78, my mom's 73. They've worked all their life hard, and they look forward to coming out here. My dad, he works front gate. He does all the stuff in the bathrooms, and fills the toilet paper things, and all that. We're a very humble family. We're blue collar workers basically, and what we've all got in our family, we've worked for from the ground up, not been given anything, and that's what I think I'm fighting really so hard about. Is we worked to make this place what it is, and we seen what it had been, and I'm not knocking them all. Everybody's different, in the way they run things, even businesses, any type of business, some run them good, some run them bad, some run them
into the ground,
and basically this was a homeless center, and it was running the ground, and anybody that would praise theirself and feel good about what was here prior to what we have now, or even stand up and say, I helped that deal, I would be embarrassed. I know the true depth of everything, and I feel sorry for some good racing friends of mine that really took a hard hit on this place, and I can't mention any names, but I feel bad for their family, because they're a good family, and that family got taken to the cleaners by the prior owner of this place, and that stuff people don't know, and I won't get into it, but I feel for that family, because they're racers too. They're a racing family, and now then I feel like, wow, not just someone else. I'm getting it from the landlord, but. I don't know. Gary Quill and Jimmy, James Parrish, I call him Jimmy. You know, me and him's had our differences and all, but I like them both. You know, and I think they're trying to do the job they can do. But I don't know. I haven't figured it out if there's just a stronger force pushing them, or there's something in the background that no one's telling ourselves or the community here what the plans are for this little piece of property. You know, it's actually around 21, 22 acres is what's here, and we're operating off of 19 because we got a pond and a weir out here. So to do what we do on 19 acres is pretty huge, you know, and I've done some finagling with a lot of fencing. I've got bills at Home Depot for chain link fence and everywhere else, and I could ground up chain link fence because I've stretched it, took it down, and put it up, you know. But no, it's a family deal, and if it wasn't for my parents and my sister, she's involved, my wife's involved, and you and your family's involved, and you know, we have the Holmeses, we have, you know, the Jerichos, you know, we have a lot of family that works here, you know, and that was raised, like you say, raised, been here. And they're saying, well, you know, the bottom line is, if I don't run it, whatever they set at that fair market value will be what the next person will have to come in and pay. If not, we'll tie this place up in court until, you know, I think it's federal, so right? It's federal. Yeah, so we'll go to federal court. I mean, I have no problem with that. I may not have I tried buying it. I wanted to buy it, so it's not sellable. I mean, I offered them, you know, I offered to write them a check for a deposit and pay what the county says it's worth. And that's the deal I don't understand. If the county can come in and appraise this property and tell them this is what your taxes are, how can it be worth 3 times, 4 times, 5 times more than the county says it is? Is your house worth 5 times more than the county says?
No.
I know mine isn't. Mine isn't, you know, and I know what's out there in the market. So there's a lot of unanswered questions about the whole deal. But the bottom line is, like I said, they are having assessed appraisal, and then we have the right, if we don't agree to it, to hire an outside source of our own to come in with our appraisal. And then, but the thing about it is, they keep lingering on, and it's coming down to March 31st is the deadline of my contract. So with that said, you know, it's not a threat, it's pretty much a promise. If we don't get it worked out, I can strip the place in 3 weeks, and I'll strip it. You know, like what we're in right now, you remember what this was that we're in. I mean, this is drywall behind here. I haven't finished it, but there was nothing but mold, busted up drywall. No, the roof was leaking. You couldn't stand to be up here, smell. And I like, how could anybody have their employees working at a place like that? So, you know, I gutted this. I gutted it, put a new roof on it, got the tower certified, new insulation, new drywall. We just haven't finished it yet because things started coming in. But I have big plans for this tower right here. You know, I'd like to stucco it all white, and I want to put Punta Gorda Speedway on the roof, so when people fly in, I say, wow, there's a speedway right there, you know. So, you know, I got big plans for the future for it, but my phone never leaves me alone. But hey, that's the way it is. But, you know, if it didn't ring, I'd get worried. But no, I've got a lot of plans and a lot of things I want to do, but that's sort of why I stopped doing stuff, because I seen I was running into a brick wall after I asked for a little help for the parking lot. Like I said, we was best friends until I asked to help for the flooded parking lot so I could run races, and since then it's been like a downhill deal. I've been a bad guy, and I don't know why. I just don't understand that. But I've yet to see that paper from the FAA demanding fair market value, and we're prepared to pull every piece of property that they're renting out and leasing out. You know, we're prepared to go to court and have that all put out in black and white to make sure that Joe or Mary or whoever down the road here that's got a business, that they're paying fair market value, because that's what it has to be, correct? I mean,
Correct. Yeah. Well, yeah, that is my understanding. And the other thing that's kind of nice is, you know, they have their board meetings once a month, and they are open to the public. And I went last couple weeks ago, and I still have more questions. So I'm going to go again in a few weeks because I have more questions for myself. Like, okay, if they're doing this and they did this for Cheney Brothers that they just brought in here and all the breaks that they're getting, and and the building that was supposed to be put in right across the street, the new Publix cold storage. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that just doesn't add up for what they're doing to you.
No, and I know a little insight on the Cheney, and I know the deal with Publix. I know all about all that, right down to the nitty gritty. Which I'm not at liberty to talk about that, and I won't. That's their business. The track's my business, but the Publix made it their business. I mean, it's like my lawyer asked me. He says, "Man, are you?" I said, "I'm not doing nothing." I said, "They took it upon themselves. It's not Kevin. I said, but I appreciate everything they're doing. For me and trying to." We are dealing with politics, and the thing about it is 99% of them's Republicans over there. But it seems like we're being dealt a Democratic hand here, more bigger government, less, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. You want to get into the political thing? I'm probably, I could go. Anybody that watches O'Reilly, I'm an O'Reilly lover, so I'm probably, hey, it is what it is. I'll make enemies over saying that, I'm sure. But Bill O'Reilly's probably one of the smartest men on the earth, I think, because you know what? He tells it like it is. He's fair. He's fair to both sides. And that's, you have a hard time finding that anywhere. But
I like the judge myself.
You like the judge? Yeah, I hear you. But no, this place means a lot to us, and we're racers. It's our livelihood. It's what we do. We race. That's I don't make a living here, that's for sure. But everybody has hobbies, and I fished and fished and fished. I tournament bass fished for 11 years, and you talk about boring. I mean, it's exciting when you get on stage, but other than that, it's very boring, to be out there all day chasing little fish around. But I'd rather race cars like I've done all my life and what my son's doing, So, we just hope everything works out, and but it might be a long, drawn-out deal, but the track could go dark. I mean, because if I don't get it worked out or they don't get it worked out, I only got a certain window there that I got to take my stuff down, and I've been told that I don't even own the lights, but I've got an account at Gray Bar, and I've got 2 licensed electricians that's pulled permits, and so we're ready to lay our receipts out on the table. There's no problem. I know what I paid and what I bought, and I know what I own, and that's what I'll get. I mean, it's not a threat, it's a promise. I'll take my stuff if that's what they want me to do. And I feel bad for the racers, and I hope the racers don't blame myself, because I got to do what I got to do. I've got to try to recoup what I can recoup,
Well, I don't think the racers will blame you. From the support I've seen just from the racers themselves and everything around, I think they're behind you 100%. And I think more than anything else, I think they appreciate that you're fighting for this place.
Well, I'm fighting for them as much as myself. I got a little legend business and all, and I like the legend cars out here. And, there's just there's a lot of racers out here that's bringing their kids up. They're bringing their kids up right here, and I've seen this one own it, that one own it, and different things. And go around to some of your other tracks. I mean, they don't have to be here in the state of Florida. You can go to other tracks, and sit and watch a Saturday night show and all. I'm not saying we're the best, but I believe for the conduct that we have here, the way people handle themselves, from the fans, the kids, and the racers and all. I mean, it's a respectable, very respectable racetrack to race at. And this is a driver's track. There's fast tracks with high banks that hold you, that'll mask a junk chassis, and stuff like that. This track here, it produces winners all over the United States is the thing. This track here, once you conquer it, the rest of them are piece of cake.
The proof is in the pudding. Your son Josh and our other young driver, Ross Chastain. Those drivers have moved on to great things now, from the ARCA Series to the Camping World Truck Series. And, this is a great stepping stone for families and kids to cut their teeth on racing. I mean, we've got young Skylar Knoll in the four-cylinder class, 11 years old, Johnny Murray. They've been out here just twisting on that little 99 car every now and then, but, and that's a father and son out here having a good time together on a Saturday night. I can remember when your son was standing on the roof of your open wheel modified.
Oh yeah, Josh, once he got big enough to hold that checkered flag, he'd spin his hat around like old Dale Jr., and he'd put his gloves on, he'd hold that checkered flag. We got some pictures of him I'm real proud of, and I'm proud of Josh, I'm proud of Ross. Them two boys, they cut their teeth here, and very fierce competitors, both of them. And that's what it takes, and they also can balance themselves, from being a short track, so to speak, redneck, little radical, to a professional race car driver, and both of them have the potential. I feel, Ross is been fortunate enough to have a good sponsor now, and we're hoping that maybe we can run into one for Josh, but both of them boys have the talent to be Cup drivers one day. They really do. Both of them do. And there's other ones out here, at this racetrack, and there's others that come from other racetracks around Florida that race here. Not all of them will come here. They'll make an excuse. But your good racers, your true hardcore racers that can wheel, that are wheelmen, they'll come here and race it. No matter what the pay is or what the rules are, they'll show up here to run because it's a challenge. And that's why Ross and Josh are above a lot of them, because they've had this challenge here quite often, and they've conquered it. Yeah.
Well, Kevin, I know it's been tough. I know we've been pulling short hairs trying to get you up here on turn 5, and
I don't like doing this, really. I really don't. And I try. I don't step on anybody's toes. I'm trying to be politically correct, so to speak, and in doing that, you got to watch what you say. But the bottom line is, I believe Gary and Jimmy is going to try and do the right thing, and I hope I have a chance, and I will. I want to sit down with Mr. Don Lee. I want to sit down with each board member privately, one-on-one with them, and talk to them and discuss with them about things that has happened and how everything's come about and the way it is, because I feel like the board members themselves are sometimes in the dark. I haven't been to those meetings because I haven't been invited for one, and two, if my lawyer says, no, you don't need to go, or, whatever, I don't go. But I don't know them people one-on-one, and they don't know me one-on-one, and they don't know my background or my family's background, or, and sometimes it's got to be more than just dollars and cents come to play, especially in a small town like this, and with our economy like it is. I mean, look at our debt ceiling. Look at a lot of things. None of us really know 6-8 months from now where any of us would be. The whole United States could be broke. Right. I mean, so there's a lot to look at there, but I hope I get a chance to talk to Mr. Don Lee, because I've been told through the grapevine somehow, there's a problem there, and he knows me. He don't know me. He knows me from nothing, and I hope I could sit down with each board member and have a talk and speak my piece with them, and if the hands are tied because of a letter from FAA, I want to see it. Bottom line, I want to see that, and I want to talk to the man at FAA that owns this property. There has to be one person somewhere that calls the shots over what we have here locally, and I hope to get to that person if it takes that. I just, with the fans that was here tonight, you see all the kids and everything and everybody, I mean, a full moon in the sky, and it sure showed it was a full moon.
Yeah, it was definitely full moon racing all the
A
way.
little bit of money on oil dry tonight, but that's no big deal. Everybody was safe. The safety did good. Cars safe. And, of course, we're the only track in Florida that's mandatory for head and neck restraint for anyone 18 years or younger.
And I think I congratulate you on that, taking that step and making it mandatory, it was the right thing to do, and I'm really shocked and surprised other tracks in the state haven't stepped up and said, you have to do this. And it's the only way we're going to keep our kids safe. It's the only way we're going to keep our drivers safe.
Exactly. I feel bad for a couple things that's happened, in the past year and a half around, and could it been helped with neck and, restraint? Maybe. I feel like, but us doing it, I feel more at ease with myself, and I wasn't pressured to do it. But where I've traveled with my son, and I've hit pretty hard myself. And you hit hard a few times, you can learn to respect a head and neck restraint, and it's saved a lot of lives in NASCAR now, and it's a proven, with the new seat designs they have out, and it's just, it needs to be implemented into the smaller short track version racing, so you prepare that child as they move up. If they're good enough to move in them ranks, they're used to wearing that, and it sure makes mom feel a lot better too.
Keeps her from getting the gray hairs.
Yes, it helps mom. Yes.
Kevin, I want to thank you for finally coming down and sitting down with us and actually getting the information out there, because everybody's been wanting to know, and we appreciate you coming out here and getting on Turn 5 racing. We appreciate everything you've done here at the track, Kevin.
Well, thanks a lot, and you and Bob do a great job with this Turn 5, and I hope we can continue with it, and can look back at it on years, and say, yeah, look at that. He interviewed that boy there, and look where he's at now. He's driving a Camping World truck, or, he's in the Nationwide. It'd be great to see, and there's a place for this racetrack here, and I believe that good Lord above works in mysterious ways, and my faith's in Him, and I believe what's meant to be will be, and we'll handle it from there.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin. We appreciate it, and thank you very much. Turn 5 racing, another Saturday night at the toughest track in the South, the Punta Gorda Speedway.